In Icarus Uprising, Pit has to save the world yet again from the evil Medusa, but comes across an incredible adventure
spanning across a number of regions in a world of chaos.
What's up guys, ItsJustGeorge here.
You may call me ShadoX, but my name is Jason.
And today, we're reviewing Icarus Uprising for the 3DS, a personal favorite of ours. Icarus Uprising is an amazing journey from start to finish. The story is its main driving force, and it's a triumphant experience that proves that being a good person pays off in the end of all hardships. However, I'm getting ahead of myself, so first things first to the gameplay. It's creative for the 3DS, but not very intuitive for myself. The C-stick controls Pit's movement, and the camera moves on its own, while touching the bottom screen aims where to attack.
Another part of the controls is that the L button is your attacking button. There are icons on the bottom screen that you can touch to activate certain powers. Not sure how many people know this, but you can also hit the X button to change the first-person view and hold it to zoom in.
I find the controls to be unergonomic and irritative at times. The game would eventually discomfort my hands. Although the sky shoot-'em-up part of the controls is really fun and pretty cinematic, which brings some life into the game.
I, for one, found that the controls don't bother me at all, although that might be attributed to having a 3DS XL. Regardless of the device, it still never got tiring for me to play the game, and besides, there are options to change the controls to better suit the player. My feel of the controls never felt bothersome, and it always just seemed to fit me.
Regardless of the difference of opinion, it's sure that the quality of the control can change with the player, and what they prefer.
Weapons play a key role in this game, and there is a lot to do with them. As we begin the story, you are given one weapon, a, quote, first blade, with 1 star in melee, 1 star in range, no bonus effect, and 100 value. As you play, you gain more weapons, each with different ranged and melee stats and bonus effect. With these extra weapons, you can fuse them together. This will take the stats and some effects and fuse them together. Certain weapons will already have a bonus effect, which affects the enemies.
The weapon system is pretty impressive and versatile. Particular weapons can go with certain styles of playing the game. Some weapons are just stupidly overpowered, and the best part is that the player makes the weapon suited to themselves. It's not something that the player has to adapt to, and instead it's something that is comfortable to the player, and it's their own choice.
That being said, there are 9 weapon types to choose from. There are arms, blades, bows, cannons, claws, clubs, orbiters, palms, and stabs. Each weapon type has 12 weapons. A total of 108 weapons is an amazing combination. Let's move on to another point, though. Level design.
The level design is amazing on a quality standpoint. It works great with the sequences of the story and the enemies on the environment. You're not cramped into one area for too long, and you don't get bored easily without having to put all of your focus onto the game.
What I like about the level designs in general is that there are 2 segments. The first segment is the Sky Battle segment. In this part, you take on the form of a shoot-'em-up where you can fly Pit around the screen. Pit normally can't fly though, but with Palutena's help, he can. For 5 minutes. Before his wings burn up. Anyways, after about 5 minutes, or what seems like it, you reach the land battle segment. This is where it takes on more of a third-person shooter type of gameplay, where each level is designed differently.
The enemies are scattered around the level pretty fairly depending on what difficulty you're playing, and it's fun to go through for someone who doesn't want much of a challenge and just wants to advance to the next chapter. It's fun for both types of video game players, and it's versatile to its own plot. Speaking of plot, we're getting to my favorite part of the game, which is the story. The directing is done by the one and only Masahiro Sakurai, and he does a perfect job. The story is an incredibly long adventure that is consecutive to each and every key element. You know exactly where to leave off and play another time. The acting was on point to just about every character. The tone is slightly different in each chapter, but fits together in a great way, and the style is simply dynamic.
I also value this game's story hugely. It drove me to play the game even more. So much so that I actually decided to play through the game again before we made this review. It's that much fun. The tone changes in each chapter are great. You can go from being in a happy chapter to a completely serious chapter so fast it might catch you off guard.
My favorite character was Dark Pit because he was the one who got the most emotion out of me. I hated him so goddamn much that I was galvanized to beat the living hell out of him. The acting, the script, and the directing made me feel so much hatred for a fictional character, and it motivated me to beat the game, or at least his portion of the game. And his turn to the good side was pretty joyful for me at the end.
As for my favorite character, I'm having trouble deciding between Dark Pit and Magnus. But I'm thinking it's probably Magnus. This character Magnus is, put simply, a human with great strength. The weapon he wields is a sword, but when you get it, it's referred to as the Magnus Club. If it's a club in your hands and a sword in his, then he must have some kind of Herculean strength.
What a lot of game creators don't get is that games like Icarus Uprising should have a really good plot, since it's able to trigger the consumer to play the game more than it's intended. But ranting aside, the story is the most important factor of Icarus Uprising to me, and it diverts me from anything I didn't enjoy about it. Which would be the music. The music is kinda head-tilting to me. Sometimes you would have a decently orchestrated song in a casual level, and sometimes you would have a soft guitar playing in a really difficult boss fight. The music is unorganized, and at most it's decent. It's what I remembered the least about Icarus Uprising.
Bit of a differing view. I love this game's music, especially in chapters 15 through 17. Chapter 15 has one of my top 3 favorite songs in the game, the others being chapter 2 and 6. That's all I have to say about the music. Now, onto one of the other best parts of this game, the multiplayer. The multiplayer aspect consists of 2 different game modes, Light vs. Dark and Free-for-All. In Light vs. Dark, it's a team-based fight, and your team's health is based on your team's weapons, which come from your story gameplay. When your team runs out of health, your, quote, angel appears. This angel is Pit for the light team and Dark Pit for the darks. Free-for-all is how it sounds. 6 people can play 1 match of either type at a time. The winner usually gets a nice amount of hearts for their victory. The multiplayer hardly ever gets laggy, and it's so fun to play, especially if you have friends to play it with.
Icarus Uprising is an incredible experience for the type of gamer who appreciates a fun, linear, and compelling setting that has a great amount of contingency.
It also has this feel to it when you play, that you know this game fits your playstyle. I thought it was an awesome game both times I played throughout the story, and it still continues to be to this day, which is why George and I gave it a 9 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure you subscribe to the Tech Tip channel for more.
ItsJustGeorge here.
And as I said before, you may call me ShadoX, but my name is Jason.
Signing off. Peace out.
See ya!